It's Joshua Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And today we're coming to you from the Hollywood sign stop here on Mulholland Drive to bring you a blockbuster video. So I'm going to go ahead and answer your question right now. I am happy to see you, but that is also an HTC One in my hand. Now, we just did a review on this and it turned out to be one of the best handling phones and with a very good build quality. There's something about this phone that reminds us of something else, and that would be, of course, the iPhone 5. With the iPhone 5 being pretty much the benchmark of design and build quality, what are we going to do with it and the HTC One? Well, obviously, we're going to drop it. It's drop test time. All right, so if you've seen our drop test from before, we're going to be doing 3 particular tests that are going to try and mimic real-world situations. And those 3 are going to be from the pocket, right over here, also from about the chest level, and then, of course, when you're on the phone, for example, coming from your head. Well, we're working with a lot of stone and concrete right here at the Hollywood Sign Observatory, but also the drops themselves should be able to provide a pretty good impact coming from this particular type of floor. So, iPhone 5 drop test coming straight from my pocket. Counting down in my head, 1, 2, 3, and...
Red, everything's red.
All right, so it landed right on its face. Oh man, what a start. What a fantastic start to this drop test. I dropped it, it went right onto its face, and there goes the screen. And let's see if it's even operational. You see there that it turns on, but let's see if we can. So just like with typical iPhones, when the screen gets cracked, you are still able to use the screen somewhat. All right, so we're gonna move on to the HTC One from there. All right, pocket test right now, HTC One, here we go. Coming from the side, and... Ooh. So as you can see, it landed right on the corner right here, and pretty much the only damage that happened to the HTC One was that this particular cover snapped right off. We're gonna find out if that can get snapped right back in. Right now it doesn't quite seem like it, but we're gonna take a look at it a little bit more later. No damage over on the sides. Looks like it's just in the corner with a pretty good dent. All right, so as you saw in the previous test, the iPhone really didn't fare very well, but that's the reason why we do the test from the pocket. Because as you're taking the phone away from your pocket, it could fall any which way. Unfortunately, the iPhone 5 came up a little bit short, had some bad luck, and just fell right on its face. But now we're gonna move on to the next test, and that would be dropping it from around the chest area. So this is also a pretty common scenario. Someone bumps into you while you're holding your phone and just drops right onto the floor. From the chest, you can see where my hand is right there, and all right, so this time it didn't fall on its face, thankfully, but instead it fell right on its bottom, right on the corner right over here. All right, and as you can see right there, you're gonna get a little bit of scuffing right on the corner. So the aluminum body, the aluminum chassis does seem to be holding up pretty well here, and we'll see if the HTC One has the same luck when it comes to its aluminum body and its aluminum chassis. All right, now unfortunately when it came to the HTC One, that little speaker grill cover just happened to, well, pop off, and the adhesive doesn't look like it's able to keep the cover on even after I tried. HTC One test from the chest right over here. Ooh. That same corner got hit again, and because that aluminum on the front is not there anymore, it does make it so that the phone has a little bit less protection. So what ended up happening is you got a little bit of a bigger dent there. It's like it pushed it right in. So we're back to the iPhone again for our third and probably final test. We'll see what happens with the HTC One after this, but we're gonna be dropping it from about this height. Now I'm about 5'7", 5'8", so this is gonna be maybe like 5'6". Drop test iPhone 5 right from the face. Right, here we go. I'm gonna lean over a little bit, that way it'll get right there in front of the camera. And down we go. Whoa. More bad luck for the iPhone, just it's landing on its face every single time. Well, not every time, but we turn on the phone and it does look like it still works, but it would be dangerous to use because if you're going around, you might get cut by the glass dust that is forming around on all of those shatters. Let's take a look around the phone. Doesn't look like there are really any real damages across the phone aside from the screen. So we're going to move on to the HTC One. All right, so let's just go ahead and get right onto it. So coming from head height, leaning forward a little bit, let's see what happens when it drops. Here we go. Again, it didn't fall on its face, so perhaps that has something to do with the balancing on the phone itself. So what we're looking at here is really no damages on the screen at all. We're looking around and it looks like the other side of the phone this time on the bottom corner is what got damaged here. So you're going to see that dent right there, and it's going to come in and bend the aluminum just a little bit. So for the most part though, the phone is still working just fine, as you can see there. This big blemish down here on the bottom, of course, is something to leave desired, but it looks like the phone itself is working just fine as far as the screen goes. So we'll see what we can do about that screen in our upcoming final big test. The iPhone unfortunately had a lot of bad luck because it fell on its face the first test and the screen has been broken ever since. It even got a little bit worse. The HTC One, for whatever reason, hasn't had that bad luck. So this is what we're going to do. One last final test from above my head. I'm going to give it one last try to drop it right on its face. There it is. Perfect impact right on his face. And we look over, there's the shattered screen. So, just what we're looking for with the HTC One, because it didn't fall on its face the way the iPhone 5 did, but this time it did, and as you can see, the screen is shattered. So the screen has the exact same problems as the iPhone 5, and we're gonna go ahead and turn it on and see if it still works fine. It looks like it does. So, we have thoroughly destroyed these two phones, pretty much as expected here in the heart of Los Angeles. And yeah, so we're going to recap in just a little bit and give the iPhone 5 and the HTC One their final farewells. Man, I gotta tell you, it hurt me to drop these phones, but as you can see, it's the screens that have the most damage because these aluminum bodies actually have a pretty good sturdiness to them. And so that's probably a good choice on HTC in order to make their phone somewhat similar to the iPhone 5 in that it has the glass screen on the front with the aluminum chassis all around. So that being said, the bodies held up very well when it came to the drop test, but when they fell right on their faces up there at the Hollywood Sign Observatory, it really did cause a lot of damage. We are your source for all things Android, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. All right, it's Joshua Gar from Android Authority. We'll see you guys later. Boom.